Diana, the Princess of Wales, born Diana Frances Spencer, was a member of the British royal family. She was the first wife of Charles, the Prince of Wales, and the heir apparent to the British throne. She is also the mother of Princes William and Harry. Diana's activism and glamour made her an international icon and also earned her enduring popularity as well as unprecedented public scrutiny. On February 24th, 1981, Diana selected her own engagement ring and married herself into the British royal family. She left her occupation as a teaching assistant and lived a short period at Clarence House, to which was the home of the Queen Mother. She then lived at Buckingham Palace until the wedding, where, according to biographer Ingrid Seward, her life became incredibly lonely. But Diana was different. Diana was actually the first English woman to marry into the line of the throne since Anne Hyde married the future James II over 300 years earlier. She was actually also the first ever royal bride to have a paying job before her engagement. After being engaged for 5 months, 20-year-old Diana became the Princess of Wales when she married Charles on the 29th of July 1981, where the wedding was held at St Paul's Cathedral, which offered more seating than Westminster Abbey, a church that was usually used for royal weddings. The wedding was perfect. People loved it. It was described as a fairy tale wedding and was actually watched globally by a television audience of 750 million people, while there were actually 600,000 spectators watching it live in the moment right there. At the altar, Diana inadvertently reversed the order of his first 2 names, saying Philip Charles Arthur George instead. She also did not say that she would obey him. That vow was left out with the couple's request, which caused a comment at the time. Diana actually wore a dress valued at £9,000, equivalent to £35,000 today, with a 25-foot train. After she became the Princess of Wales, Diana automatically acquired the rank as the 3rd highest female in the British Order of Presidents, and was the 5th or 6th in the orders of presidents of her other realms, following the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen Mother and the Prince of Wales. Within a few years of the wedding, the Queen extended Diana visible tokens of membership into the royal family. But despite all the efforts, 5 years into their marriage, the couple's incompatibility and age difference of 12 years started to become visible and also damaging. Charles resumed his relationship with his former girlfriend, Camilla Parker Bowles, and Diana later began one with Major James Hewitt, the family's former riding instructor. The media speculated that Hewitt, not Charles, was Harry's father based on the alleged physical similarities between Hewitt and Harry, but Hewitt and everyone else denied this. Harry was born 2 years before their affair had begun, and by 1987 the cracks in their marriage had become visible, and the couple's unhappiness and cold attitude towards one another were being reported by the press now. The Queen and Prince Philip actually hosted a meeting between Charles and Diana and unsuccessfully tried to effect a reconciliation between the two. Philip wrote to Diana and expressed his disappointment at the extramarital affairs of both her and Charles. He asked her to examine their behaviour from the other's point of view. The Duke was far too direct and Diana was sensitive. She found the letters very hard to take, but nevertheless appreciated that he was acting with good intent. It was alleged by some people, including Diana's close friends, that Diana had a very tense relationship with the royal family. On the 20th of December, Buckingham Palace announced that the Queen had sent letters to Charles and Diana advising them both to divorce. The Queen's move was backed by the Prime Minister and by senior counsellors, and according to the BBC, this was decided after 2 weeks of talks. Charles formally agreed to the divorce in a written statement soon after. In February 1996, Diana had announced her agreement after negotiations with Charles and representatives of the Queen. But rather tragically, on the 31st of August 1997, Diana died in a car crash in the Pont de l'Arme tunnel in Paris. While the driver was fleeing from the paparazzi, the crash resulted in the deaths of her and her companion Dodi Fayed and the driver Henry Paul, who was the acting security manager of the Hotel Ritz in Paris. Diana's funeral was televised on the 6th of September and was watched by a British television audience that peaked at 32.1 million people, which at the time was one of the United Kingdom's highest figures ever for viewing. Millions and millions more watched the event around the world. So, what's the conspiracy? What's the theory behind all of this? Now that I can talk normally and not have to read things out, let's get into some of the conspiracies of this. A lot of people believe that Diana didn't die by accident, that Diana's death was actually foul play. So, let me give you some evidence to such. It was reported that Princess Diana actually told her representatives that she believed that she would die in a car accident, that maybe there'd be something to happen, such as a pre-prepared brake failure, or by some other means, effort would be made to get rid of her. The Princess of Wales apparently believed that there was a conspiracy that both she and Camilla Parker Bowles, who the affair was with, were going to be, quote, put aside by the royal family. A note that Diana wrote quite shockingly says, as I quote now, "I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for somebody to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head up high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. Someone is planning, quote, an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for him to remarry. Now that's alarming. That's very alarming. But don't stop yet, there's more. A former MI6 officer, Richard Tomlinson, spread a rumour that he'd seen intelligence files for an assassination of a foreign politician in Paris that had an, quote, eerie similarity to Diana's deadly crash, leading to rumours that the driver, Henry Paul, was in on the scheme and was feeding information to the MI6 during. And get on this, Diana's driver followed the usual route most of the way from the Ritz Hotel to her boyfriend's apartment, but took a strange diversion past one expected turn. Some people suspect that the entrance to the slip road most drivers would have taken was purposely blocked by the MI6, forcing Paul to head to a tunnel instead. When the car arrived, a bright light supposedly flashed, blinding the driver so he could swerve and crash, and another vehicle fled the scene. This is starting to get a little bit, I'm starting to believe. Here's another one for you. The ambulance who was carrying Princess Diana, who was still alive at the time, passed the hospital without stopping on its way to another hospital further away from that scene. Critics claimed that this seemed fishy, especially because she'd been kept at the scene for so long whilst they were treating to her on location. It's also believed that the paparazzi purposely set up unsafe conditions as the deadly accident happened whilst paparazzi were chasing Diana, which led to some rumours that the photographers were in on a morbid scheme, hoping the chase would end in a crash. Diana had a past with some photographers, as she had won a restraining order against one before, just a year earlier before the crash. She claimed he'd crashed into her car during a photo op chase and that he was using tactics that were calculated and used to cause harm. Prince Philip was also blamed for Diana's death by Mohammed Al Fayed, saying he did not want her to marry and have a baby with a Muslim man. There were also some claims that Philip, who died in April, wrote Diana threatening letters according to the investigation. Philip declined to comment on any of the allegations when approached by the police. The report said his relationship with his daughter-in-law was described in ways that could range from closeness to hostility. So, with all the evidence being presented, what do I think? I personally believe that yes, she was murdered. I think that it was probably a setup. Princess Diana was different. She was different to the royal family. She stood for a lot of different things to the royal family, and I think that upset a lot of people. I think people like the royal family, want to keep things sweet and certain. They want to make things a certain way, and they want it to be any different. I also believe it's kind of a once you're in kind of thing, sort of like a mafia, but like a more royal mafia. She obviously divorced, went on to start a new life, have more kids, and I don't think they wanted that sort of, as they viewed it, as a stain on the royal family. They didn't want her taking her title and placing it in different places, having kids with different people. You know, they didn't want this bloodline to be tarnished by just normal folk as they probably see it. And then to go on and say that there was probably threatening letters written to her. She was being basically intimidated by the royal family, saying, you know, you can't just go out and do things like this. She had numerous secret meetings held between her and the Queen, saying basically, you know, we think you should do this, we think you should do that. It's like a control thing, and I've seen similar things in just normal life with girls I know and lads that I know, and I think to myself, yeah, this happens. This happens to famous people too, not just this happens to the royal family. This happens to the most famous family in the world, most likely, other than the Kardashians, obviously. But except there's obviously a big difference between just Tommy and Katie, who live down the street, who are married, and the royal family. The royal family have a lot of power and a lot of precedence in the UK, and most likely could make you disappear just like that. I think that's the case with Diana. It's sort of, you piss so many people off, you do so many things that they don't want you to do, and eventually they're going to snap. And with their case, they're not just going to snap, they're going to make you disappear, they're going to kill you. And I think that's exactly what they did. I think it was set up to have Diana killed. As tragically as it is, and how much the nation loved her, it isn't going to save you from that kind of situation. As well as her knowing this is going to happen, that's kind of sad, don't you think? That she kind of knew what was going to happen to her. She predicted her own death. I can't see that as a coincidence, that she just sat there and thought, yeah, this is what's going to happen. She just literally said, this is what's going to happen to me. And then, guess what? It happens to her. That tells me that maybe she'd heard or overheard or been involved in something similar herself, and knows exactly what happens to people like her when they try and branch out, when they try and get away. I mean, who knows? After making this video, they might come get me. The MI6 might appear at my door and, you know, silence pistol, just... I'm dead. Rest in peace, Gilloboijr Jr. But what I want to know is what you think. So make sure to comment down below. Like, subscribe, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of conspiracies, some creepy stuff. It's all going to be that kind of thing, you know, all the mysterious, ooh, in the world that you might see. So make sure to comment down below and tell me what you think. Did Diana die by accident, or was it all a big setup by the royal family? You need to let me know down below, so comment, make sure to let me know your opinions, because I've been Gilloboijr Jr. I'm probably going to die on the bus to work later today, but I'll catch you later, and if I don't, I'll definitely see you in the afterlife. Lots of love, bless up, bye bye.